So what we're working on is the idea of developing a business course that is ethical, social and green. We're going to develop a leadership skill base for young people in upper secondary who will be actually thinking about how their business idea is going to impact on their community.
Through the entire program, we've been able to go out to businesses, see what how they first started, what they've accomplished now.
Home 1 changed my view because I saw such a small business gain so much experience and gain better knowledge.
I really love the idea of generating ideas and excitement in the area, and I think the more it can be involved in curriculum, I think it's really great how young minds are coming together and learning more about it.
I'd love everybody to think really broadly about education and the future and what we need.
Well, I hope to see lots of amazing businesses and social enterprises coming out of the Inner North.
Welcome to another episode of Come to Work With Me. I'm Audrey, and of course, before we start, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet from today, and we acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging, and we also welcome everyone joining in today. I am joined by some very, very cool people with amazing stories. We are joined by Charlie, Viv and Louise, and I'm going to be chatting with Charlie and Louise today. So let's start with you, Charlie. How are you?
Hi,
Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, well, yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm Charlie. I am a programmer and a software architect, but also I'm someone who has founded 2 startups over my life, and I'm really keen to talk about that kind of thing and encourage students to do it because it's been a great thing for me, and I'm really, I think it's an opportunity for more and more people.
Absolutely. So where do you work today and sort of what do you do there?
Okay, so I work for a company called Atlassian. It's the largest tech company in Australia. It was founded 20 years ago, and it was founded by 2 people, and it's now grown to 8,000. And it's the leader in its area. It's considered the best company for teamwork, and it's a great place for me to work. Where the company that I've had, as I said, I've had 2 startups. The first one was called Smarty Grants, and the second Think Tilt. Smarty Grants was about government grants, about supporting government agencies to give away grant money. And Think Tilt is, we had Proforma, which is forms. It's of corporate forms like HR and that kind of thing. We sold Think Tilt to Atlassian earlier in the year, and we all joined the whole company, bar one, unfortunately, who couldn't make it, but almost the whole company came across to Atlassian, and now we're building our business inside a bigger one.
Awesome. I love to hear that. We're going to touch a bit more on your story shortly, but I want to welcome Louise. Welcome. How are you? And again, who are you? Tell us what you do.
Hi, thank you. I'm Louise. I am currently a VCAL teacher at Fitzroy High School, and I've been teaching for only 3 years. My background is in corporate, and I ran my own small business for about a decade.
Amazing. What a change going from, a whole different career into basically working on the front lines in a high school. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's been a very good change for me.
So for the past 2 to 4 years, you've been participating in the Youth Enterprise Hub Teacher Professional Development. That is a mouthful to say. Can you tell us a little bit about this and what kind of PD has this been?
So for me, that's been an opportunity to collaborate with other teachers and with industry professionals and people that have actually created their own startups, which has been amazing. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do as much as we would have liked to during this last 18 months. But prior to that, and even during that, there's been a lot of kind of online collaboration. So for me, it's just been an opportunity to tap into a whole lot of experience, resource, expertise, skills. And obviously use that in how I deliver to students.
Yeah, amazing. Now, you both are mentors, if I'm correct?
Yes,
Charlie's the mentor.
I'm a mentor.
So you're the teacher for the Youth Enterprise Hub. So both of you, when not sure who wants to go first, can you just give us a little bit more information about what you do there and why you do it?
For me, I teach VCAL. I teach year 11 and 12 VCAL. And why do I do it? How long have you got? I wanted to, it sounds so cliche, but I really did want to have more of an impact through my work, and this is kind of where I've ended up. I love working with young people, and what I particularly love about this is there's a direct link with what I've done in the past and what I can bring in terms of my own skills and experience, but at the same time enable a group of young people to explore their own ideas, work collaboratively, and just shine. That's why I'm doing it.
I love it. Charlie, why do you do it?
Well, when I was in high school, I remember doing a program, not quite the same, but a bit similar, where I spent a few months after school, once a week, going into Australia Post, and we had a group there, and they taught us a whole lot of stuff about making a product and getting it out there and all of that stuff. And I loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I think it really made a big difference in me then pursuing my own business later on. Because I felt like that was something that is hard to get from school, like as in you to see how a business really works and to see what you do on a normal day and the kind of things that you need to think about, like the market and who your customer is and those kind of things, which are a really different way of looking at the world. It's really useful to give you an idea of, one, how to do it, but also if you like that. Like you might like it, you might not like it, but it's a great time to find out. And so when I saw this opportunity, I thought this is something I really appreciated when I was a kid, and now that I've been through and I've learned a few things, hopefully I can help pass on some people and hopefully inspire more people to do what I did.
Fantastic. So you have both been working with students on entrepreneurial prototypes.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of a background information for, those playing at home who aren't sure what that means. They're just big words. What are students doing? What are they creating? How have they responded to the project? And what you're hoping that these students will gain from it? That's a big question.
Well, yes.
Very big question.
Shall I kick off with a few things that our students are working on? So we started off by, I've got a class of about 17 Year 12 students, and we started off by just talking about the things that we cared about in the community and kind of narrowing our focus from that perspective. And for my students, that was a very strong emphasis on mental health, neurodiversity, food waste, and from left of field, the ocean, and keeping our oceans safe and healthy and well. Basically, that was the focus. And through that, they then started to think about, well, what sort of businesses could they develop that could potentially support some of those social and environmental issues that they had concerns about. For my students, we've ended up with 4 through a very kind of long process of working, brainstorming a whole pile of ideas and then narrowing down our thinking. We have 4 groups. One is focusing on a food truck that has a kind of pay-as-you-go model and a focus on using food waste, which sounds gross, but it actually doesn't have to be. If you look at what are some of the things supermarkets throw out. We've also got a group working on a DIY laptop idea where you can come in and design your own laptop. We've got another group working on a safe housemates app where you can join an app and through the app find housemates that you are both matched with and also are deemed safe. And then we've also got a group working on what they're calling a mixie bottle, which is a sauce bottle that dispenses 2 sauces at once.
That's amazing. I want that now.
I've just given all of their ideas away.
It's okay, safe space. No one's going to go out and, how important is it for these students to be able to have this opportunity in schools and in the community to be like, okay, I have the ability to create something, follow a dream? Because I know when I was in high school, nothing like this existed. I wish I had something like this. So how important is it to especially your 17 students in year 12 to know that they can still do this in VCAL instead of, having to wait till they get a uni degree or something like that?
Yeah, it's actually been incredibly empowering for them, and it's been such a joy for me as a teacher to see them connect with this project, particularly during remote learning. I'm in Victoria, so we're in lockdown right now, so all of my classes are delivered remotely, and I'm getting 100% attendance in this. Across the board for every session. They're turning up, they're working in their groups, they're really grabbing it. And I think it is giving them not only an idea of what they could do when they leave school, but bigger than that, it's giving them skills that they can touch and feel and see. They can see, they get it, they can see how the skills that they're learning, whether they go on to be entrepreneurs or whether they go on to, work as a tradie and run their own plumbing business, the skills that they're learning through this are invaluable.
They could literally use them for anything and everything, just to even, as you say, start up a business, whether it is within a trade or, a food truck, which sounds great, or two sauce bottle. From big to small, it's just amazing that, the students have this opportunity. Charlie, tell us a little bit about what your group's doing.
So my group are doing a student app. The idea is that it's an app by students for students. So it's a great idea for them because it's something that they can actually try out, at school. It's something that it is, I think, the kind of thing that we would encourage in my everyday work, which is to say that we're looking at a real need, like something that we can see is needed, and then the students have come up with that idea, and I've been available to help them turn it from, well, okay, they've got the idea, but now I can use my experience to say, okay, well, here's how you can turn that into a real thing. Here are the steps that I would go through, and that what the kind of work that I do and my colleagues do, and then try and work out a way to hopefully make it a reality during this year. But at least to go through as much of the process as we can and show them how they can do it and lead it themselves.
Absolutely, and especially in a world as we know it today where, you don't have an exercise book or a literal textbook as much anymore. Everything's on computers or iPads, it's all digital. So having an app to help, I guess, students is key. Why wouldn't you do it? Very, very smart.
Absolutely.
No, fantastic. So, Charlie, what would have been valuable for you to know before taking, your entrepreneurial pathway to get to where you were? What do you wish you could have known back when you were 17, 18, and what you're passing on to students now?
Well, I think one of the things that I've learned is that it sounds like a cliche, but teamwork is really important, and finding one or two people to work with is really important, because you're not good at everything, and different people have different skills and different backgrounds. You don't want to just have one view on everything. The best businesses, I think, come from having two or three people with different backgrounds and different ideas, and working together, taking the advantage of your skills. So when I started, I spent a bit of time, building the first app that I did, Smarty Grants. I spent a lot of time building that by myself, and the initial first period was mainly me. I had one of my good friends and founders was there as well, but it took a while before we really built a team, and it needed that team to make it blossom, I think. And the reason I realize now is that I don't know everything, and I best to concentrate on my best skills. So I think a lot about how to work with people and form a team and share the work and really be I think honest about your expectations and what you can get done and those kind of things is actually very important. And it doesn't matter what kind of business it is. I work in a technical job, but I'm sure this is the kind of thing that applies to just about anything, whether you're building a taco truck or a shop or an app or whatever it is. So that's something I think is really important, and I don't think I knew that when I was younger.
Definitely. And I think for a lot of young people, like definitely myself, when you hear the word entrepreneur, you think my brain automatically goes to apps. I don't know why. That's probably just my tech mind going, okay, yeah, to be an entrepreneur, you're building apps, you're building a business, you're doing this sort of thing. But it literally is basically an industry that covers everything from all different walks of life, whether, it's starting, as you said, Louise, plumbing business, building business, a cafe, anything that you personally are creating is basically becoming an entrepreneur. And I think it's fantastic, and definitely more students should be looking at this as a path just to get themselves started or to have an open mind about what they're doing. Louise, I wish I had, a teacher like you when I was in high school, and definitely a mentor like you, Charlie, to assist me on the right pathway. But do you guys think that you have to, how am I going to word this? Charlie, you could definitely answer this within the app sort of thing. You have to make mistakes to learn and progress. You've got to, fall down 10 stairs to make it to the top of the staircase. You said you've had a lot of startups and they all sound like they've done amazingly. I know we've, spoken with the team that they've used some of your apps before, but it wasn't always smooth sailing, was it?
Now, I've been lucky in that the two big startups we had have both done well, but it's not always true. And there've also been a lot of ideas along the way that we've tried that we never took very far. And so it is, and that's something you do somewhat have to expect. But one of the things I think, a bit of advice I would have for people is especially in the app area where you're building something that is virtual, it's on a computer, so as long as you've got the basic equipment, you can start building without too much cost. And so what I say is try something and just try and make something small. Don't try and change the world on your first attempt. Just think of one little thing you've seen that you want to change or improve or fix or whatever it is, and do that one little thing and really try and get that done. And it can be a really tiny thing. It can be, it can be something like not even in tech. It could be just something in your local neighborhood that you think could be done better. Maybe there isn't a taco truck near you. Maybe there isn't a way to get tacos and you think that's what I need. And don't overdo it. Just the smallest possible thing you can do, and then you'll find out. And if it's a good idea, then it'll grow from there. And if it turns out that you weren't right, or you, for whatever reason, well, then you can try something else. But if you've only put a few weeks or a few months, then maybe you feel like you can get up and do it again. But I do know some people who've spent, they've taken 2 or 3 years out from work to really build something they thought was exciting, and 3 years later, they still haven't quite got there, and they don't really have anything to show for it, or it's on its way, but it's not ready. And that, I don't think you can do that. I think what you want to do is you want to just find something small and start. Don't plan too much. Just try it.
Yeah, fantastic. Louise, what's your best advice to give to students?
Wow, I think definitely just kind of have a go. there's a couple of things that have come out of this for my students that I've seen already. One is working, each of those 4 teams that I talked about before are working with their own industry mentor. And I remember the first time that we met, they were very nervous, and they had put these people up on a pedestal and were very concerned about what they could bring to the table, as in the students, what they could bring. And I think now, having worked with those people, and for them to talk, as Charlie just did, about some of their not so successful moments, and to see that their own vulnerabilities, a couple of our mentors were quite nervous about meeting with the students. And so that's been a really big learning for them. But I wanted to super quickly share a conversation I had yesterday with a student who is one of the team leaders. And I thought that this would be useful to share today, because whilst we're talking about success in terms of, potentially being entrepreneurs, as I said before, there's a lot of those kind of the meta skills that we're talking about here in terms of leadership and collaboration and teamwork that are also part of it. And this student asked to have a meeting with me yesterday and was just pulling his hair out because he was finding leading the team really tough. There was some disagreement in the team about ideas. There was different levels of contribution within the team, and it was just it was a golden conversation for me, because it was, after about 20 minutes, I said to him, have a look at what we're talking about here in terms of what you're learning. And it was just a magic reflection. And this is someone who doesn't see himself as a strong leader, and doesn't see himself as having those capabilities. And yet here he was demonstrating leadership absolutely brilliantly in the way that he was liaising with his team. The fact that he'd come to me to talk through some of the issues, that's what you do. Once you're in a working role, whether it's in a corporate role or whether it's in a whatever environment, if you hit an issue with your team, there's always someone you can talk to and work that through. But it's not about relinquishing the ownership and the accountability for the team, and that's not what he did. To me, that's the gold in this. It's seeing students it was a moment.
Develop these skills. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I want them to learn from it, is to recognise their capability, and have a real opportunity to demonstrate that.
No, again, I keep repeating this. These students are so lucky, and it sounds like they've got, great, many great years ahead of them. They're going to be set for life, basically.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky. So, of course, we're going to have to wrap it up. I wish I could talk to you guys forever, because I could. And I know that we've been joined by so many lovely people today who would love to have a chat with you too. So, Louise, Charlie, thank you so much for sharing a small amount of your story. I know we've got lots more to discuss. For more information about the Youth Enterprise Hub, Emma has put in the website. Of course, it is, in the chat, so definitely jump on there. If not, there is also links on the Central Lent website. Of course, we'll be back for another episode next week, and have a great National Skills Week, and get back to teaching, I guess, Louise. I'm sure the kids are waiting for you.
Thank you, they are.
Fantastic, guys. Oh, yeah, there's everything there. Thank you, Carrie. So, yeah, there's also lesson plans available for teachers, and have a great week. Thanks.
Thank you.
For joining us.